Hello everyone and welcome to my second episode where I review and analyze the evolution of ships. In my last video, a viewer recommended that we should review the Narn ships from Babylon 5. Just like the Earth Alliance, the Narn regime doesn't possess a long history of space travel as other major factions such as the Centauri and the Minbari. The difference between the Narn and the humans was that the Narns did possess some vessels that were capable of space travel and did control some territory such as Rongoth 3 before the humans contacted their first alien. Once the Narn encountered the Centauri, they were quickly enslaved and all their technology was destroyed. They didn't start to gain their own independence and freedom from the Centauri until the early 23rd century. Once the Narn were able to push back the last Centauri from their homeworld, they vowed to never be conquered again, which started an aggressive program to design and build ships that matched the Centauri's strength. Luckily for the Narn, the Centauri left behind ships and technology that they could re-engineer to protect their newly found freedom. After 6 months of gaining their freedom, the Narn regime constructed multiple ships called the Talleth class, or also referred to as the Talleth assault cruiser. The vessel was designed to take control over systems and colonize them. The early version of the Talleth was built from leftover parts from the Centauri ships. If the Centauri left behind their capital ships, the Narn regime would have been able to create their own vessels with artificial gravity. With the technology they obtained from others, they were able to increase their power and spread their influence. Since the Centauri strip mined the Narn homeworld, the Narn regime had to find other systems to gain resources needed to grow their military. With a few Talleth ships, they were able to place themselves as protectors of neighboring systems and started to exploit the native population and the planet's resources. The Talleth in every ship that the Narn built had a very solid superstructure. Life on these ships was very uncomfortable since room must be made for the heavy weapons and large engines. When the Narn regime was developing their first generation ships, there were huge gaps in their knowledge. A lot of the technology that was obtained was taken from Centauri ships. They were slowly taken apart to learn how to use them. This was also true when it came to jump gate technology. The Talleth was capable of creating a jump point, but the Narn scientists were missing a lot of information when it came to creating a powerful enough drive that can maintain a jump field. They were able to get around this issue by building an array of smaller drives to create a jump point, but it was very inefficient. The Narn regime was able to hide this issue by heavily shielding the smaller devices. The Narn early vessels were powerful and could transport a great amount of soldiers and equipment, which allowed them to take control of 12 systems in a few years, but they were not using the technology at its full capacity. Granted, the Centauri did have centuries to effectively use their technology, which the Narn regime does not possess that kind of patience or luxury. Once they're able to figure out how to use a piece of technology such as engine thrusters or lasers, they just add it to the Talleth without learning how to properly use it in an effective way. There were also other vessels constructed at the early stages of the Narn regime, and this class of vessel was called the Thintis class frigate. It was one of the first vessels used when the Narns headed to space on their own. It was constructed by using their own components rather than scavenge parts from Centauri ships that were left behind. The frigate was constructed to patrol their territory and used as fire support. Early versions of this ship did not have jump drives and relied on gates. Unlike other factions such as the Earth Alliance, the Narn were able to skip the period of time where their ships lacked energy weapons. With the weapons they were able to scavenge and buy, they were able to upgrade the ship's combat abilities. Most of the energy weapons used during this time were laser, pulse, and plasma cannons. The laser cannon was designed strictly to engage bigger ships and were usually ineffective against smaller ships, though if it did hit it, it would probably completely destroy the vessel. The issue behind the laser cannon was the length of time it took to recharge. The second most commonly used weapon is plasma. The plasma weapon fires a superheated blast that can burn through armor, making it great at breaking through defenses. The problem behind the plasma weapon is once fired it rapidly cools off, which reduces the amount of damage. The last weapon is the pulse cannon, which can damage larger ships, but due to its short range ability and power, they are mostly used to defend off fighters. Granted, these issues are common among these types of weapons, but due to the Narn's lack of patience to properly learn how to effectively use them, they are more prevalent. Once the Narn military constructed a vessel that was capable of defending their territory, they realized they needed a fighter that had the agility and mobility to match the Centauri Sentry, which started the creation of the Gorith class medium fighter. The main issue behind this fighter was its lack of firepower. Most of the time it was up to the skill of the pilot if the fighter was going to be victorious. Unlike other fighters in the Babylon 5 show, the Gorith weapons were ineffective against capital ships and was mainly used as an escort fighter. The second generation of Narn ships were mostly medium-sized vessels. They quickly realized that they needed two types of specialized ships. The first vessels were designed to patrol their territory, and the second type was designed to attack their enemies. Their defense vessels, such as the Sho'Kos class police cutter, was quick and could dart in and out of danger when needed. These ships had short-range weapons such as pulse weapons, which lacks the ability to cause some major damage. More specialized patrol vessels, such as the Dag'Kar, are equipped with energy mines, which are new weapons designed by Narn engineers that can destroy incoming fighters or enemy warships. For attacking, the Narn regime created 3 destroyers that specialize in different offensive abilities. The Rongoth class is one of the older designs and has been retrofitted over the years to keep up to date. It's an extremely powerful artillery ship and is one of the first vessels on the list to use twin particle arrays. This weapon system is stolen from the Centauri and it's primarily used as an anti-fighter defense. The twin arrays are actually 2 weapons that can fire offensive and defensive modes. The second destroyer is called the Var'Nic class, which is considered a long-range destroyer. It was designed to hunt and kill smaller prey. It's a common practice for the vessel to jump into a system and quickly destroy its target before jumping back into hyperspace. It's a perfect ship for hit-and-run missions. The vessel is extremely powerful, and this power is increased by using ion torpedo launchers, which has a similar concept to energy mines but with longer range. The last destroyer is a Katak class and is used as a capital ship within the Narn military, which is interesting because the ship does not have the ability to create its own jump point. The vessel was designed to hunt down and destroy enemy warships. The main reason why the destroyer doesn't possess a jump drive is due to large weapons that's equipped on the ship, such as a mag gun, which is a railgun that fires a small nuclear charge that can damage a large area. If the weapon misses its target, it does not explode due to a safety mechanism built in to avoid friendly fire. Over the years, the Narn have tried to update their vessels to avoid being outclassed, but since they rely on the technology of others, any destroyed ship takes a while to replace. Sometime after the release of the Gorith, the Narn military produced the Frazi Heavy fighter, which was designed to engage both warships and other fighters. Their main focus was to build a ship that can take a hit and give it. The main issue behind this vessel is that it's slower than its predecessor. After a while, the Tal class started to get outdated, which forced the Narn military to design other bigger ships that are well armed. These classes of vessels were the Jaquan cruiser and the Bentak dreadnought. Jaquan was made to replace the Taloth and eventually became the main vessel used within their fleet. Just like its predecessor, it was able to perform a variety of missions and able to attack and defend when needed. The Narn regime's main focus was to design a ship that had a mass bag of weaponry, which gives the vessel amazing short and long range attacks. Even though the Narn had the Jaquan class, they were still missing a ship that can take on any Centauri vessel head on and win, which led to the creation of the Bentak. The Bentak is the Narn's super weapon and can even the odds during the battle. Due to the expense of the vessel, only a few of these ships were created, and most of them are used as command vessels. The Narn military has also constructed more specialized ships, such as the Dag'Kar missile frigate, but due to its power, it's usually one of the first vessels attacked by its enemies. Throughout the years, we saw that the Narn military's main focus was to design a vessel that could compete against the Centauri. Each time the Narn obtained advanced weapons, a new ship would soon follow. What's your thoughts about the evolution of Narn vessels, and which factions do you want me to review next? If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. And also don't forget to click on the notification button to keep yourself updated with my channel. If you enjoyed this video, then you might enjoy these other 2 videos displayed on the screen. For more sci-fi content, then please check out my socials. Thank you for watching Utopian Broadcast, and I'll see you next time on my channel. Thank you.